I saw you for a little bit of time you've been wrestling. You've done a lot.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I try to uh, I try to
You
do
got to
what I can.
wrestle. You got to wrestle Matt
I
Riddle.
always try to work for bigger promotions and stuff like that. Cause
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't. I'm
Matt
sorry.
Jackson and Nick Jackson said on Saturday they believe this industry is going into a boom. Do you believe that?
I do. I do believe that.
I think it is
I
too.
would.
I think it's going into like a weird spot where it's like everyone like WWE and AEW are gonna get all the indie guys, and guys like you are gonna get more shots like other places.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Especially since there's so much wrestling going on right now and all kinds of wrestling that it's perfect to be a professional wrestler. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, but it's so much. It's a lot to consume. But for the thing for wrestling, it's not a lot to watch. The other shows aren't that good. Not a lot of good things to watch other than sports.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I feel that people are talking about wrestling right now more than they did before. I think that with social media, Twitter, Instagram, and even YouTube, I feel that
Yeah,
it's been slowly but surely just becoming more and more popular.
yeah. Like wrestling is that thing where it's like you can be anything and everything. It's for everybody. If you like, I feel like anybody can be a wrestling fan if they give it the right shape.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think um, wrestling is I always think about it like art. Art is subjective, and a professional wrestler is basically the paint, and you can paint your whichever way you want to, and there's some people that are gonna like it, and there's some people that won't like it.
Yeah, it's like if you listen to the show, there's a few people like the show on Twitch that don't like Orange Cassidy, where it's like I can see where you don't, but then I kind of like him too, because you see how he does a suicide dive with his hand in his pockets. That's really hard to do. I don't think I
Yeah,
could do it.
yeah, I think that's insane. I wouldn't do it personally just because I don't
You
know.
want to hurt yourself?
Well, that's one, but at the same time, I don't know. Sometimes I think that some of the risks are a little bit unnecessary. But hey,
Yeah,
art is subjective, so you can paint your painting whichever way you want to.
yeah. Let me ask you about yourself. What were the wrestlers that influenced you to want to wrestle?
Um, honestly, the first wrestler that influenced me was John Cena.
John Cena.
Yeah, I was I was born in Lima, Peru, and I didn't learn anything about wrestling until I got here, which was in 2006. Because
Mm-hmm.
wrestling is not that popular in Peru. Um, so when I first came here, I didn't have much to watch or anything. I didn't know much about this place, and just flipping through the channels, I just watched John Cena beating up Edge, and I immediately fell in love with wrestling.
Yeah. The way I got into it was weird. It's really weird. It's like I saw a commercial once for SmackDown, and it
Mhm.
had Alberto Del Rio in the ring laughing, and had Sheamus, and they're all pale white, muscular redhead. And I was like, oh my god, I gotta check this out. This looks cool.
Yeah, the first time that I actually I stopped watching wrestling for a little bit, and then I went
Hmm.
back into watching wrestling because I saw that Sheamus became the WWE champion, and I was like I heard it on the news or something like that, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" And I started looking into Sheamus because I've never seen somebody like him before, so pale with red
Yeah,
hair.
I feel like I wonder who's like that guy right now. Probably Bray Wyatt. Do you see the stuff he's been doing?
It seemed like what he's been doing lately. I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think it's like it shows how like wrestling this he just took something out of a movie and put it into a wrestling ring, and that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's I think that sometimes it could be a little bit scary for like the kids,
Yeah, but
but like just how like I love that that a lot of times when they do promos in the WWE and they show you, it's almost like they're showing you a character, how they portray themselves. But when you watch Bray Wyatt, it's almost like he's showing you his mind or how his mind works.
yeah,
Like
I
that's what I
like. Here you going? You can say what you're gonna say.
oh I just finished.
Uh, so tell me about like how did you get into wrestling? What school did you go to? Who trained you? Who gave you the best advice?
I was trained at the MCW Training Center in Joppa, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2015, I started training in the class with Velveteen, not the same class, but a few classes after. But in the training there was I trained with Velveteen Dream and Leo Rush.
I live in the DMV. That's a good school to remember. I want to do it in a couple of years. There aren't
Yeah,
really that many schools where I live.
where you live?
I live in Virginia.
Oh, you live in Virginia. I live in Virginia too. I live 30 minutes away from DC in Fairfax.
I'm about an hour.
Yeah, that's
I was
not.
thinking about going to that first AEWs. I was like, I'm gonna put it off. But I didn't think that many people are gonna buy it because it's DC, and like
Yeah,
that thing showed out in like a minute.
gotcha, gotcha.
So I saw you that you did some stuff with Joey Janela. One of the websites said they were a tag team, but I was able to figure out it was wrong. Like in the hour, were you a tag team?
Like a few years ago, back in 2015, I used to go to the Dojo Wars for CZW.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the way for people that wanted to get on the main CZW shows. CCW, in other words, Combat Zone Wrestling, for the people that don't know. Um, so everybody wanted to get on CZW, and to get to that, you needed to go to the Dojo Wars, which was every Wednesday. It still is every Wednesday, once a week. So my first day, they were looking for a Bat Boy too, because that was Joey Janela's shtick at the time, or part of his character. That every single week he would come with a new Bat Boy too. Um, so they put me to tag with him that day, and like Joey told me, hey, when you get in the ring, I want you to say, like, as soon as I tag you in the match, I want you to say, my name is the Bat Boy 2, and I like sex.
You like sex?
Yeah. So,
Uh,
so I went inside. So we did it. So we went over there, and like, he did his little spot in the beginning. Then he came up to me and tagged me in. I went inside the ring, and before I even lock up with the guy that I was wrestling, I was like, "My name is the Bat Boy 2, dos, dos, and I like sex." And then,
uh, that's
and then,
great.
like, I just add a little bit of my shtick into it, and then just within a few minutes, like, everybody started laughing. And then I saw like DJ High, like the owner of CCW, just turning his back around and getting out of the building because he couldn't stop laughing. So just from that little moment, they decided to pair me up with Joey Janela for for a couple of months, and I was fortunate that they put me on the show for Cage of Death the same year, to not to wrestle but to do like a little promo before the show, where basically I did exactly the same thing but in front of a bigger audience.
Okay. Well, I'd say that is any reaction is a good reaction. And
Yeah,
I get in arguments about like certain wrestlers about all the time about not like their character, but the reaction they get. I feel like reaction's everything.
yeah, that's what I'm always looking for, like raw reactions. Like I like when I was given this, I always like, even though at first, like, if somebody tells you to just go in the ring and say, "Oh, I like sex," a lot of times you would think it's like, "Man, this is bullshit," or "Oh man, this is kind of dumb. I don't know. I might look stupid." But
Yeah.
um, what I like to do is that I like to take whatever I'm given and just like do my best with it, like to make it mean something, you know. So I always put 100% in everything that I do, and I think that that's one of the reasons why it worked. And right after that, I got into like a little feud with Joey Janela, which ended in a match at Dojo Wars 60, I believe. Um, it was the main event, and it was loser leaves town. So the loser would just stop coming to Dojo Wars, and that was a way for CCW to give the approval to Joey Janela to get onto the main roster forever.
Uh,
And so they had me beat Joey Janela, and then Joey just went on to the main roster for CCW after that.
like, I'm asking about a future Vaughn. I watched a couple of your matches. I like the way you work. It doesn't like you do like the same moves every match, but you try to like find a way to like mix it up. Like in my opinion.
Mm, I would say that I don't really have like um since I don't really have anything established, mainly because I'm not on TV, like national television, like in WWE or anything like that. So it's really really hard to establish something for your audience. So every single match that I do is like I'm wrestling for a new crowd. That's how I always take it. Even though it's the same crowd that I wrestle every week, I always
Yeah.
picture it as just a new crowd. So every moves or anything that I do, I based it out of the story that I'm trying to tell, and um and what kind of reaction I want to get, and
Okay.
what's my spot in the show. The more importantly,
Have you ever like tried to like work on like new moves that no one's ever done before?
um, I used to, but not anymore. I don't
Is it
focus.
like because it's tough and it's too much risk of energy? I mean
Uh,
injury.
I just think that I just not really big into moves. Like I don't think that I don't wanna have people believe that wrestling is about moves. I think that professional wrestling it's about moments, and I like to think, or I believe that moves are just transition between these moments. So what I really always want to work on is finding good moments and just putting the moves together to see how I can get to my moment.
Uh, so like, would this be a good analogy? Like in a movie, the moves are prop. Really, like the moves are props to help the scene.
Exactly. It's almost like when you go to watch a movie, you almost know how the movie's gonna end. However, it's the build up that builds the anticipation for the end.
Yeah, like in a Dark Knight, we all know Batman's gonna win, but it's the story they told.
Yeah, and how they get there. And sometimes like the perfect example is the Dark Knight with Joker. Like there was a lot of times that just watching the movie, we from the beginning we always thought that it's impossible for Batman to lose. However, as we were watching the movie, you would notice that Joker had like so many like crazy ways to get back on Batman, and I think that the highest peak of that was when the Joker told Batman that he had turned Harvey Dent into a into a criminal, and by that, like pretty much at that moment, I really thought that Batman had lost.
Yeah,
But then
It's like,
when they switched the thing around and like Harvey died, and then Batman took the loss for it. Batman won, but at the same time he lost or he was damaged by that.
yeah. I'm trying to think of a match that's like that. This happened before, but it's like so many I can't think of off the top of my head. It's like you think they got. Maybe I can think of one. Well, let's think of Lesnar versus Rollins. You see him beating up Rollins all match, and you think he's gonna win because it's Brock Lesnar. Then one move and a couple more moves, and Seth Rollins, the ultimate architect, the man who was injured, the ultimate workhorse, won because he's just that good. He never gave up, like that kind of stuff. You know
I
what I mean?
didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't get the last part. Can you repeat that again?
He's the ultimate workhorse. He never gives up, and that's why he won, no matter how strong the opponent was.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like even if you watch, like if you compare both matches, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. For Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, it looked like their last matches have been a little bit more even. Whereas with Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar, you always see Seth Rollins getting destroyed. Like
Yeah,
you always have the feel that Seth Rollins is so much weaker than Brock Lesnar. However, I think that they're really, really good at telling the story that Brock Lesnar is too overconfident and to wrestle Seth Rollins. That so I think that's the story right there that they always try to tell that Seth Rollins outsmarts Brock Lesnar for him to make little mistakes where he can take over and defeat him. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like, actually, about Brian Johnson. Seen you wrestle him a couple times. I think you have good chemistry with him.
Oh yeah, I love Brian Johnson. I love working him. He's one of the best wrestlers I ever worked. Honestly, like he's like really intense and um, he has a few years of experience, probably more than me. I think he has more than me, probably like 10 years or so.
I think I
But
saw his debut was in 2006.
really, damn. Well, yeah, he has a lot of experience, and you can tell even like for the matches that we had. A lot of the times I've only wrestled him twice, one in Ring of Honor, and a second time I wrestled him was like 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah.
And we just, we just decided to call it on to do it spontaneously. So like we didn't even talk about anything, just like probably the ending, and everything that happened during the match was just like we just it was just on the fly, like we had nothing planned.
I like his gimmick, and you did the matches justice, especially in Ring of Honor. You sold really good for him.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the like I always think that selling is a lost art nowadays in wrestling because I think that a lot of guys on the independent level they like to do a lot of the hardcore style where you take a shot and then you just keep going, you know.
I
Or
think selling is really important on independent because based off one sale could get that guy over and get that guy looked at. Like let's say someone does a power bomb to you and you sell it like you just got shot. I could get that guy booked.
yeah, exactly. Like I think that people need to focus more on selling. Like I think that people are not wrestlers are not selling as much as they used to, so it's something that I really like to focus. I would say
And
I'm I would say I'm a little bit of between a mix of old school and new school, and I like to like combine both of them.
yeah, I don't want to. I don't like using WWE examples, but like a couple weeks ago when Roman Reigns wrestled Buddy Murphy and he sold his ass off for Buddy Murphy, and I think it's a big part of what got Buddy Murphy over.
Yeah, exactly. Because it makes because it gives because if you beat a nobody, then you don't do anything for yourself. So you need to make so for Roman Reigns to actually get something out of that match, he needed to make Buddy Murphy look like $1 million. He needed to make him look as tough as possible. That way, once he beats him, it makes Roman Reigns look even better.
Yeah. Like if you beat a nobody, then you're a nobody.
Exactly. Or maybe you're just a little bit better than a nobody.
Yeah. I feel like is this wrong? I think selling looks a little fun. It's like a little silly, but it looks fun
Yeah. It's
because you don't have the purpose.
like I said, it's just an old art that sometimes people forget to do, and I just think that people should focus more on that.
Yeah. Ooh, since we're going into a boom, I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions. I'm gonna let you get out of here. Since we're going to boom, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again?
So I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions. I'm gonna let you get out of here. So I said, since we're going into a wrestling boom, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
mm, it's kind of hard to tell, but I see myself working for at a bigger stage.
Like
Right?
somewhere on TV,
Exactly.
like
That's,
Impact.
mm, I don't. I'm not close. I'm not close to any doors, but um, I see myself wrestling on TV, even if it's for Impact, continuing wrestling for Ring of Honor, WWE, or even AEW. I'm
Yeah.
always, I'm always open for different opportunities.
What's one wrestler, if you could wrestle tomorrow, that you will wrestle?
John Cena.
Yeah,
I would
that's a good pick. So, he finds every match. He finds a way, especially when he wrestles young guys. He finds a way to make it like tell a story. Like, will John
exactly.
Cena finally lose to the new kid on the block?
Yeah, I think John Cena is like one of those guys that can get a reaction out of anybody. Like if you watch any of his matches, there's always a reaction, even if it's negative, but
Yeah.
always a reaction.
Where do you think like what do you think is one gimmick that hasn't been done in wrestling, but like, it should be done, even if it's like I was thinking that a political gimmick should be done. For like a bigger WWE, somebody comes out, they have a show, and they talk about like hot topic issues like feminism. He'll have the girls come out, he'll disrespect them, he'll get his heat. I feel like that gimmick is gonna be done. But I feel like I'm scared it's gonna get stopped. You know?
Yeah, I think that it's like those kinds of gimmicks are kind of hard to do, especially on TV. Um, simply because in WWE at least I feel that they always try to work towards the casual audience more than the hardcore fans.
I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking like advertisers wouldn't like that on TV.
Yeah, but that's also part of that because the advertisers are also looking into getting casual fans.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. This is a good talk. Hopefully, we can do a follow up sometime, maybe 2 months, 3 months, depending. I'll let you know this was my first ever interview for to get the tables, and let
Yeah,
you know they're live every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. We're gonna be live tomorrow at around 10. So if you want to come back, see the guys, Tony and Dave, they run the show.
sounds
You can
good.
come on. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
really nice community. We we talk our shit about, we shoot the shit, but it's like nothing personal.
How long you guys been running?
They've been running about a year. I've been doing more things for them. I started a YouTube channel for them. I'm gonna start doing interviews for them. It helps the show, and then the process can
If you if you
help
could
you,
send
can
me
help
some
all
of
the
the
other
stuff
people I
through
interview.
through message, I'll definitely check it out because I was actually I was trying to check more things about it. I'm actually pretty interested in what you
Yeah,
guys are
we got
doing.
a YouTube channel. I can give you. You can look at the clips you want to look at, and it would like faster, easier for you.
Yeah, that works.
All right. Thank you. Where can the
Oh,
people
thank you.
find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube was Rayo Wrestles. RAYOWRESTLES.
All right. Thank you for the talk.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on your show.